Hey Commander players, I'm EK, an EDH edutainer, here with the deck tech for Sigarda, Champion of Light, a new legendary creature from Innistrad Midnight Hunt. This deck was built with a budget of no more than $15 per single card, excluding lands. So Sigarda has always had an affinity for humans and humans matter cards. No, not that kind of affinity, so let's see what Innistrad's Angel Mom has to offer us this time. Sigarda, Champion of Light is 1, a green, and 2 white for a 4/4 legendary creature. She's an angel with flying and trample. On top of that, she has an ability brand new to Midnight Hunt called Coven. Whenever Sigarda attacks, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a human creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Right away, this is pretty cool because it gets around effects like Narset Partner Phase. Always a plus. It goes without saying, Sigarda loves humans. She wants to buff your board, and she wants to find you more gas, dig you towards protection pieces, along with bears to bog down the board so we can leave our opponents in the dust while advancing our game plan. First things first, human stacks in Magic are iconic for their ability to curve out super consistently. Sigarda totally rewards us for having a strong curve since she wants to be out on the board with 2 other creatures with different powers. 1-drop staples like Avacyn's Pilgrim, Esper Sentinel, and Champion of the Parish really set the tone early and give us great utility for a super efficient cost. Esper Sentinel especially is going to shine in this deck because it gets out of hand super quick. Because let's be honest, they're never really just going to be a 1/1. Between Sigarda's Anthem effect and buffs in our deck, your opponents absolutely aren't going to be able to afford to pay their taxes. We're even running cards like Ranger of Eos and Ranger Captain of Eos just to have extra access to our suite of 1-drops. Ranger Captain of Eos also has the added bonus of letting us sacrifice it to prevent our opponents from casting spells this turn. It's super great to stop that combo player from popping off, or from someone removing our board, or protecting a turn where we want to try and pop off and eliminate some players. Cards like these are why I love Serra Ascendant in this deck if we're thinking about expanding the budget. Having additional ways to search up and play out your 1-mana 6/6 with flying and lifelink just check off all those aggressive boxes that I love. Speaking of playing aggressively, it's definitely my preferred playstyle, but that doesn't mean I love my value too. My brand of value just comes in the form of payoffs from getting in for damage and then slamming my foot even further down on that gas pedal. Toski, Bearer of Secrets, and Orin Frostfang are the perfect cards for converting our aggressive game plan into card advantage. Orin Frostfang also gives all of our attacking creatures Death Touch, which is certainly not something we want to overlook. Throne of the God Pharaoh and Harvest Season are 2 more amazing payoffs for our aggressive lines. Throne makes each opponent lose a life for each tapped creature we control, and Harvest Season fetches basic lands out of our deck based on how many tapped creatures we control as well. For $1.78 US, Harvest Season is easily one of the deck's best bang for your buck options and definitely flies under the radar for aggressive ramp options in general. Now let's talk about more ramp. Karametra, God of Harvest, also gives us a ramp-based payoff for doing what we want to keep doing: play more creatures. Not only is this going to potentially ramp us a ton, but it thins our deck to make Sigarda's Coven trigger more consistent. Karametra herself is also a pretty formidable creature too. She's a 6/7 indestructible, which means she's great on offense and defense, especially since she's likely going to be getting some sick buffs from elsewhere, and white cards are super pip heavy, so getting that Devotion online is going to be super easy. When it comes to value flying under the radar, this next card truly takes the cake. Path of Discovery is 3 and a green for an enchantment that reads, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it explores. And to explore, we reveal the top card of our library, we put that card into our hand if it's a land, otherwise we put a +1/+1 counter on the creature, and then put that card back on top, or we can put it into our graveyard. So we can manipulate the top of our deck and skim off the cards that might not be so useful in the situation we're in. With so many creatures in our deck, plus our ability to make additional tokens that will trigger Path of Discovery, we're inevitably going to get a ton of top deck manipulation, land drop fixing, and or +1/+1 counters, which will end up translating to a taller, more threatening board for us. Suddenly, already scary cards like Thalia, Guardian of Thraben are 2-mana 3/2s with extreme upside. Redain, God of the Worthy, is an already super terrifying card as is, but coming in as a 3/4 versus a 2/3 is huge. In addition to Path of Discovery, we've definitely got to talk about these other creature synergy payoffs. Odric Master Tactician and Odric Lunarch Marshal really dial up our effectiveness during the combat step, plus the Flavor Win is just too good to pass up. Odric Master Tactician lets us dictate blocking on our own terms, including forcing our opponents to block with their crucial creatures they need to stick around, or just saying, you can't block us at all, or we're going to get in there. Odric Lunarch Marshal spills our keyword soup all over our board. For example, if we have Odric on the board with just a creature like Sigarda, Champion of Light to pull keywords from, our whole board is going to get flying and trample. That's pretty insane and a huge deal. We're able to get lifelink from card draw all-star Mangara the Diplomat, as well as Intrepid Adversary, another new card from Midnight Hunt, which has the ability to buff up our board while they're at it. We can pay the 1 and a white as many times as we can afford to, so that it gets more Valor counters, subsequently making it a larger threat, and it scales our board along with it. Looking at our true curve topping finishers, we've got a variety of powerful cards that not only synergize with what our deck's trying to do, but honestly, they just cause things to get downright out of hand. Newly reprinted staple Mirari's Wake doubles the output of our lands, and it gives us the injection of late game ramp that we're looking for so that we can drop down a few extra cards. Plus, we get the added bonus of another Anthem effect on our board. Cathar's Crusade is the true all-star of this deck that not only has some major synergies with our efficiently costed creature base, but it has some serious synergies with Oketra's Monument. Not only is Oketra's Monument going to discount the casting cost of our white creatures, but it's going to have every creature that we cast bring a friend along for the ride. And that means more triggers for Cathar's Crusade, more creatures to get hit by our Anthem effects, more of everything that we want to do. Cathar's Crusade also has some absolutely absurd synergy with Adeline Resplendent Cathar, and honestly, Adeline might be the best card in the whole deck, hands down. She costs 1 and 2 white, has vigilance, and her power is equal to the number of creatures you control. Whenever you attack, for each opponent, create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker they control. She doesn't even have to be the one attacking either. So if we drop her down in main phase 1 and go to combat, our Thalia's Lieutenant can attack, trigger her ability to get upwards of 3 humans, and get counters to make their attack that much scarier. This inevitably means that she's going to get out of hand super quickly with any Anthem, like Sigarda's, and she turbocharges cards like Champion of Lamholt, who's going to make it even more likely that our board's going to get in there for huge damage by making our creatures unblockable. This is also upwards of 3 Cathar's Crusade triggers, more cards drawn off of Toski and Oran Frostfang, and a ton of Aura Shards triggers. Continuing down this line of buffing our boards, Vanquisher's Banner slots in with an Anthem effect for our humans, as well as offering another source of card draw for us. I really love to leverage cards that can check off multiple boxes, and this is one of those cards that does exactly that. Vanquisher's Banner is a pretty cool card, but let's dial that effect up to the extreme. Coat of Arms is the ultimate Anthem effect for creature type synergies, and it puts some serious work in with our deck. Just remember, sharing multiple creature types doesn't give an additional bonus. Coat of Arms counts creatures, not creature types, so while Sanctifier Anvek is both a human and a cleric, as is Mother of Runes, they would still only give each other +1/+1 if they were on the board together. However, if Sanctifier Anvek is on the board with Glorious Protector, while one is a human and one is an angel, they're both clerics, so they'd each get +1/+1 if they were on the board together. Coat of Arms is also a symmetrical effect. Even our opponents get to benefit from it. To combat this and other creature type synergy decks, cards like Riders of Gavany are here to laugh in the face of Krenko or the Urdrek. If you wanted to switch things up, you can definitely try out Akroma's Memorial or Eldrazi Monument in this slot instead. Totally up to you and whatever your playgroup is into. Some people might find the math involved with Coat of Arms to be a little bit too intense, and some groups also aren't the biggest fan of Elish Norn either. So it pays to have some flexibility in your top end options. Either way, be ready for the buff and keyword soup buffet and some crazy damage. You can definitely count on Triumph of the Hordes to build your own Phyrexian invasion though. There's nothing more ironic than Sigarda valiantly saving the citizens of Innistrad from vampires, werewolves, monsters, and Eldrazi, only to embrace Phyrexia as an alternate win con. On the subject of alternate win cons, we've got to talk about one last card, and that's Shaman of the Forgotten Ways. This card is an all-time favorite of mine. It's a human mana dork that helps us turbo out our creatures early, but if we don't see it until late game, they enable us to functionally play the banned card Biorhythm. If we satisfy the keyword Formidable, aka if creatures you control have total power 8 or greater, we can tap Shaman of the Forgotten Ways and pay 9 and 2 green to make each player's life total become equal to the number of creatures they control. In some cases, this might just be a way to eliminate a player or set up an easy swing for lethal in the combat step. Getting this to go off is definitely one of those achievement unlock moments as a commander player, and it's definitely a sight to behold. It's not going to happen often, but when it does, it's super awesome. You and your playgroup are definitely going to reminisce about it for quite some time. That's it for this Deck Tech. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you thought of a card that you think should be included, or if you have a commander that you'd like to see me brew or break down, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with another video very soon. Hey, thanks for watching my video. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, ding the bell icon, and help me fight the evil algorithm overlords and the control players by liking this video and leaving a comment. And I'll catch you next time.